Father, first of all, thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you for the community we live in. Thank you for all the blessings we oftentimes forget to say thank you for. We ask you in this time of our country, we ask you to please help us bring peace to all parts of the United States and around the world, and especially help us all to be kind and merciful in all the things we might do. We ask you to be with those who serve our communities in public service, especially the police, the fire, EMS workers, and especially those who are defending our nation both here and abroad. I ask you to be with us this evening as we serve the citizens of Kenton County, that everything we do and say is pleasing to your will. Thank you for the cries of kids and laughter and this time of summer kicking off, and always remind us to be thankful for those things in our community. We ask this in your Son's Jesus' name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So for those who are in the crowd and who might have asked to speak or want to speak, we have a sign-up sheet. I think hopefully everyone who did has done that, just making sure. Okay. So we're going to move on to the agenda, which first off, we are going to approve our minutes from the May 27th meeting.
I'll turn my mic on.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We are going to go ahead and go to our sign-in sheet for those who would like to address the court. If you will, when you come to the court, so we have Jesse Dalton, who's on Mayhair Road. And if you would just let us know where you live, and I have asked also if you would acknowledge if you're acknowledging that you're a resident of Kenton County or not. But Ms. Dalton, welcome.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. My name is Jessie Dalton. I'm a resident of Kenton County, and I live at 987 Mare Road. That falls in Focus Area 1. I'm speaking once again against the strong opposition to the Site Readiness Initiative. I want to speak just very briefly to the people in the audience. SRI, people may not know what that is. It's the vision being presented by this fiscal court with the stated goal, and I quote, to create an inventory of readily available sites for purchase and development of manufacturing prospects, end quote. The proposed development will have the end impact of approximately 5,200 acres of rural, residential, and agricultural land south of Mayhair Road in Independence, extending all the way to Piner. I urge everyone here to become fully informed on the scope and the implications of this initiative. Detailed information is publicly available on the Kenton County website at kentoncounty.org. To the members of the court, I have concerns regarding the intent and presentation of the letter dated May 28th from Judge Executive Knuckleman, which invites residents to participate in individual meetings with property owners. While the letter states that these meetings are meant to ensure opportunity to answer questions and gather further feedback, I find this concerning for several reasons. First, the need for additional feedback is questionable in my opinion. According to the Kenton County Community Engagement Session Feedback February 2025 document, over 615 pieces of feedback were recorded. The overwhelming opposition presented in that data is evident. How much more feedback is necessary? Second, it's routinely stated in these fiscal court meetings that any conversation held outside of this formal meeting setting are not part of public record. This creates a troubling loophole to me for both parties. It allows for the possibility of either party speaking misleading or incorrect information behind closed doors, conversations that can never be verified or held accountable. These risks undermine public trust and foster a climate of suspicion. As one speaker aptly put it in last month's meeting, we are not going away. I respectfully ask that the court take these considerations seriously and reconsider implementing in the implementation of the SRI. The community is engaged, informed, and united in opposition. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you very much. We do appreciate that very much. Mr. Dalton, I don't know if anyone has signed up to speak and who doesn't want to speak, or if something's been made already, a comment they've made prior, you don't have to come up to the podium, but no issue. Oh, I apologize. Rhonda Shank.
Hello,
Hi,
I'm
Ms.
Rhonda Shank, Eads Road,
Eads Road, and are you a Kenton County resident or Boone County resident?
Kenton County.
Kenton County, thank you.
Yes, sir. I'm here to speak in opposition again to the SRI plan. I'd like to tell you a short story, if you would allow me to indulge
You've got a couple
myself
minutes,
for a
you're fine.
couple minutes. A grandfather took his 6-year-old grandson fishing for the day. The youngster was filled with excitement and anticipation. The grandfather, not so much. Throughout the entire day, the grandfather mumbled to himself in his head how many other things, more important things, that he needed to do rather than being on this fishing trip. This continued throughout the day. After the grandfather finally dropped his grandson off to his parents, he again mumbled to himself, "What a wasted day." That night, as the little boy kneeled for his prayers, he said, "Thank you, God, for the best day of my life." So, as you see, most things are a matter of perspective, the way we perceive the situation. You, the fiscal court, perceive the SRI plan as progress and a source of revenue. We perceive the SRI plan as taking our homes, our farmland, and the legacies that we plan to leave to our children and grandchildren. Our hope would be that we could continue to do this without interference from your SRI plan. The fact is, Kentucky, according to the 2022 Census of Agricultural Statistics, is losing about 290 acres of farmland each day. I want to repeat that because I think that needs to soak in, because that's just not an arbitrary statistic that is thrown out there. 290 acres of farmland every day in Kentucky. From our perspective, that is a threatening fact. From your perspective, I hope you come to realize that this is not progress at any cost. Our perspective is to keep Southern Kenton County rural. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have Kimberly Clayton Code.
Kimberly Code, Eads Road. I'd like to extend an
Ms. Eads, are you
invitation to
Kenton
the
County
fiscal
resident?
court to
Are you Kenton
attend.
County resident or Boone County?
We have property in both.
Where do you live?
I live on the Boone side, but we have property that
Okay,
splits.
thank you.
I'd like to extend an invitation to the members of the fiscal court to attend one of the monthly meetings of the South Kenton County Citizens Group. Our upcoming July gathering and ice cream social would be provide the opportunity to engage directly with the citizens you serve and who will be electing the next members of the court. Your presence is more than welcome. We know only 2 of you can attend at a time, but you're welcome to attend one of our meetings. As I shared in this room last month, I must again address a serious concern regarding the materials posted on the Fiscal Court's Site Readiness Initiative website and presented at the community engagement session at Piner. The website continues to present a misleading interpretation of data from the South Kenton County Citizens Group survey in 2016. Specifically, the question in the survey asked residents which type of industrial use would be least disruptive to the surrounding rural agricultural area, not whether they support industrial development. Despite this, the fiscal court's presentation claims that 97% of residents support light and medium industrial development, which is a clear misinterpretation of the question's intent and the responses provided. This distortion undermines the integrity of public engagement and erodes trust in the decision-making process. Once again, I'd like to formally request the fiscal court correct the information on the website to accurately reflect the survey data. Second, in recent letters dated May 28th and received by property owners in the SRI Focus Area 1, Judge Knockelman stated, "We know that development is imminent in Boone County." Likewise, Commissioner Nienaber recently stated in a fiscal court meeting that development is coming from Boone County, with the SRI merely being a reaction to Boone County's actions. However, a cursory look at Boone County's comprehensive land use plan shows this is untrue. To quote from Boone County's June 18th fiscal court meeting, more than 50% of Boone County remains undeveloped. Land use studies and zoning laws have been intentional in protecting much of the southern areas of Boone County. Conservation and preservation have always been and remain a priority for the Boone County Fiscal Court. Furthermore, Boone County's 2040 plan, the land adjoining Kenton County's SRI focus area, is set to remain rural. In fact, the plan specifically states this area should experience little growth. If you compare the plans side by side, it's evident Kenton County, not Boone, is the entity pushing for industrial development. Third, I want to address a recent SWOT analysis, Strengths, Weaknesses, Opportunities, and Threats, published by BNKY, formerly Triad, included in their office and industrial feasibility study. This report cites county leadership as a strength, so kudos to you all, a multi-county collaborative strategy with Boone as the opportunity. It identifies inadequate infrastructure as a weakness. But most troubling, it lists citizen concern over industrial development as the threat. Let me be clear. The voting citizens of this county who pay taxes, support our schools, and elect this fiscal court should never be labeled as a threat. We are stakeholders, not obstacles. This community is not a barrier to progress. We're the foundation of it. We're families who've lived here for generations. We're stewards of the land and citizens who believe in responsible growth that honors our rural roots and protects our future. Labeling public concern as a threat is not just insulting, it's dangerous. It dismisses the very voices you were elected to represent. We're not asking for anything unreasonable. We're asking to be heard, to be respected, and our rights as property owners and voting citizens to be honored. Tonight, I urge you to stop this initiative, reevaluate your approach, and engage with us, not as adversaries. The future of Kenton County and our region should be built with citizens, not in spite of them.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Thank you. Actually, John, if you can, we're going to go on. If we
I have
can,
a-
we'll come back to the comments
I have a
later, if you don't
question.
mind.
Well-
Let's go ahead and run through everybody's. We'll come
Okay.
back. Carla Palmer. I'd like to see. Mrs. Palmer? Welcome.
Hi, my name is Carla Palmer. I'm a Kenton County resident for life.
Great. Thank you.
Let me start by stating I'm opposed to this SRI. Industrialization of southern Kenton County is not wanted by the citizens. I've been a resident in southern Kenton County for over 30 years. I have been a participant in the opposition to this in the previous times, and we've been successful in having the fiscal court to realize it was the wrong ideal for what the county had in place. Industrialization is not what we need. We need more. I do want to point out that my mailing address is Walton, but I do not receive the Kenton County What's Happening letter, which is one of the things that said that this was in. I don't have it. The letters that have been sent to property owners, I've received 2. Don't know what's happening to them. My mail comes through Boone County, but I don't receive those letters. I did receive the letter yesterday. I declined the private meeting answering questions because, as it's been stated, unless there's 3, it's not a quorum, it's not official. And so if it's a one-on-one or 2-on-1, it's not official. Nothing that is said is going to amount to anything. It's just words going back and forth, and there's no meat to it that that's what's going to happen. I concur with all that have spoken against this opposition over the last few months. There have been many pieces of information that have come up, many sources that have been stated that are valid. As she said, they're just not random statistics. I bring up again, I read the same article, that in the 2022 U.S. Department of Agricultural Census, Kentucky farmland is disappearing. Over the last 2 decades, 17,000 farms have disappeared. Over 1.4 million acres have disappeared. If we continue down that road, and that's on the state, but if Kenton County adds to this, that's just adding and taking away from the land that we have that we want to leave to our children and our grandchildren. I asked the fiscal court to look at the number of the residents in Kenton County that are opposed to this industrialization. I asked that the residents should be first and foremost, not the LLCs that have bought up a lot of the property, not the out-of-county investors that have been built buying up the property, not out-of-state investors, and not companies. The residents themselves should be first and foremost, and their opinions and their views should be taken into consideration. And up until this point, I don't believe that that is what has happened. I believe you've heard it, but I don't know that you've actually understood what we're trying to say and taken to heart what we want. We do not want this. I'd like to also, in that letter, it's talking about how for 20 years that this industrialization has been in place. The eco-commerce is actually from south of Wright Road to Walton Nicholson. So when you go north of Wright Road to Bristow, none of that is eco. It wasn't done. The fiscal court did not approve it. Planning and zoning did not approve it. So there is a big botch of land here that you're saying has already been approved, and it's not. It's south of Wright Road is where it is. So I think there's a misunderstanding there. The residents are speaking out loud and clear, and I think the feedback that we are giving you is we do not want this, and I ask that you please hear us, listen to us, and please do as we ask as residents of the county and taxpayers of this county. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Mr. Groothouse.
My name's Tim Groothouse. I live at 991 Mayor Road in Kenton County.
Yeah, thanks.
Again, I'm still opposed to the SRI in both focus areas. I live in focus area 1. But people moved to the county for a reason: the green space, the farms, not being around all the industrial, around all the subdivisions, factories. We don't want the big box stores out here. We don't want the factories. We don't need giant subdivisions, or we would have moved to Boone County. I'm still waiting on the date for the time for the special meeting that will be on record. It's supposed to be late June, early July. Hopefully, the hundreds of questions that got asked at the informational meetings will get answered. Hopefully, it's in more of an open format. I know it can't be completely open.
Right.
It'd get a little crazy, but hopefully moderated and open to some back and forth. Get some interaction from the citizens. So that's really all I have to say. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Mr. Groothouse, you would like to speak as well? You're both good at it, so it's...
Good evening. My name is, sorry, I'm short.
You're good.
My name is Heather Groothouse. I also live on Mayor Road in Focus Area 1. I've lived on Mayor Road with my husband and children for 14 years, and it was not until December 16th, 2024 that we or any of our neighbors on our road first heard of the SRI project, and by that time it was already wrapped up in a nice little package by consultants and outside firms. Since December, the fiscal court has paused its efforts in Focus Area 2, instead to concentrate on Focus Area 1, which was the area of the Site Readiness Initiative map in which residents were never surveyed, consulted, or informed at all as to these plans. While Focus Area 2 residents were represented in part by the South US 25 group, Focus Area 1 residents never had a voice. So by charging ahead with the SRI, specifically in Focus Area 1, perhaps you can understand why residents and our neighbors feel like our homes and our way of life are under attack by our own government. We received Mr. Knockelman's letter yesterday offering private meetings to obtain further feedback. So I will again offer my feedback publicly. The SRI project is a mistake. At one time, builders in our area thought that Bradford pear trees were a great idea. They were cheap, they were fast-growing, they were showy in the spring with fresh landscaping, and now they are a scourge on our land. They are spreading, they're crowding out native varieties, they're unstable, they're messy, they're smelly, they're an ecological disaster. And so, like the Bradford pear trees, bringing and planting industry to South Kenton County would be a tragedy. Please stop the SRI. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I just lost there we go. Mr. Bach. Welcome back.
Evening. Ben Bach, Independence President, Kent County. I have 3 quick questions and then a little statement. If you want me just to ask the questions, and I'll move to the statement, and that would be
Sure. I mean, we're obviously not planning to get into a back and forth this evening, but sure, go ahead. And
Sure.
Questions are fine.
For my first question was regarding the resolution tonight, 2501J, the general fund refunds of $33,000. I was wondering what was causing that refund adjustment. For the resolution 2520, is the $285,000 only for the named sections in the resolution, or is it for all roads? And in Exhibit 2585, it mentions Exhibit A several times, but I didn't see in any of the documentation for tonight what Exhibit A was referencing. So if I could be pointed towards that, I'd appreciate it. And the statement being, over the past weekend, NPR's Sunday Story was entitled Unprepared, Helene's Deadly Warning. And in it, they discussed how over the past 10 to 15 years of natural disasters across the country, which have prompted rebuilding efforts in communities, that those rebuilding efforts have been hindered or resulted in worse conditions for those communities due to decisions and policy driven by developers and not the people living in those communities. I encourage everyone to listen to those reports on NPR's website. Relevant to us in Kenton County, more specifically of that, is that as severe weather and tornadoes have been increasing with the NKADD, with Ad District, recent identification of how much housing the region needs and the misbalance of priorities leading to development of rural resources, I think it's a salient point that we should listen to, those examples. We need to ensure that the priorities of the county are in favor of the people, and the language of affordability isn't a smokescreen for outside profitability. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And on those items of the agenda, we'll kind of touch on those as we go through the agenda. So, nobody else has to address the court this evening? Last chance for, okay with that? Okay. And we will move forward. I don't know, Commissioner, did you have a comment or question you were going to make? Or?
First of all, I'd like to compliment all the speakers. I think you were well spoken and you made your point quite well. But I think you said that Boone County has 50% undeveloped land.
I pulled that off their website today. It was a news release following the fiscal court, their last fiscal court meeting.
That's kind of shocking to me, but
That's what it says on their website.
yeah, well, I don't know whether it's right or wrong, but the other issue too, you said someone threatened you.
No, there was a SWOT analysis. A SWOT analysis is where you look at strengths, weaknesses, opportunities,
Yeah.
and threats of a plan's business plan, and the threat, the T, was citizens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was
I didn't understand
SRI.
that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, because I'm sure no one here would threaten you, but,
It saw citizens as a threat to the plan.
okay, thank you.
Here, thanks.
That's all I had.
If I can clarify just a couple things, just so that I don't, so that I haven't created fear of speaking to an elected official outside of this room, okay? My comment is that there were people who were saying that we're going to take houses and the policy was this, the policy was that. The policies formed in this room from the 4 people who raised their hand, okay? we can't form policy without having informed information from the people like yourselves who are thankful. I'm thankful that you're coming and expressing your opinions. Of the 15,000 or so people in South Kenton County, we've heard from about 200 unique people. We want to hear from the other 14,800 people, and that's why the letter's going out. That's why we're not rushing through this. We're trying to engage as many people so that we can do our homework outside of here to come back here with good information to raise our hand whatever way we have to go, okay? I didn't want to confuse people saying don't talk to people outside of here. The reality is I was kind of reacting to the fact that there was a lot of policy being thrown around out there that we're going to take houses, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And essentially, the policy is spoken through the minutes. I've said that for 23 years now. In Fort Wright and here. I would encourage you to speak to people outside of here via email, phone, whatever, pretty accessible to to get the opinion. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people who haven't been willing to come here, and even a lot of people who haven't been willing to come to those meetings. And so it's important that we give every opportunity. And I mean, this is obviously it hits home with some people. Why would we send a letter and invite more people to come in and tell us, this? I mean, it's because it's the right thing to do to talk to people. But no decision will be made outside of this outside of this chambers. When I say this, obviously, the Covington chambers is where we have our meetings. So any decisions will be made in here. That's how the fiscal court speaks. But we as individuals regularly gain information. Two more things real quick. Since I was on the front end of the site readiness, it feels like it's traveling at light speed. I'm probably finished in a year and a half, and I promise you this conversation will still be happening. But it is. I mean, I'm not going to be argumentative, but Boone County did a really good job of garnering a ton of money to get a bunch of roundabouts and 4-lane highways, and they weren't doing it for tractors. Okay? Boone County is... Gary Moore's been really good at going out and getting money for highways for development, and those highways are specifically what's creating the opportunities for development, including coming under the railroad tracks. Old Lexington Pike, early on, 2 or so years ago, you and I were approached or talked to some people about developing the Benton Farm. Mm-hmm. And part of that's in Boone County, part of it's in Kenton County. It was being spurred by the redevelopment from Boone County under the railroad tracks. Remember, you couldn't get past there for about 2 years while they were burrowing under there to make tractor trailer access. Kenton County didn't have anything to do with that money. Okay, so once they get under there with an interstate access right there, unfortunately, or fortunately, if you're the person trying to sell your property, I have no dog in the fight. I don't care if you sell your property or not. But Boone County has been really, really good. I mean, we've been fighting just to get money for 236 just to be able to have access to our people, okay? And we're finally getting some 236 money, and that land up there isn't going to be real easy to develop if it were developed. Finally, not being argumentative, I'm glad you guys are here, but big subdivisions. The confusing part about sitting up here is that of those 200 people, I got the map in my car where everybody was from. A pretty significant number of those came from the quarter-acre subdivisions. Some of you here, I didn't hear any in here right now. But if not industrial, there's probably going to be quarter-acre subdivisions down there. You know what I mean? So I guess as we move forward with this, the conversations that we have with people individually would be to garner the information of like, okay, well, is it acceptable for there to be more residential units of people who want to live on quarter-acre lots in the South County? We got to look at the big picture of all that stuff. I mean, for 2 years, honestly, we heard minimum 5-acre lots. I mean, that's what the South Kenton group wanted us to adopt, am I correct? So now you got a lot of quarter-acre, half-acre lot folks coming and saying no industrial. I'm not pushing for industrial. I'm just telling you it's coming. And if there was a bunch of dirt under a railroad track, I'd feel like it's coming slower. But there's not. There's concrete and there's lights and there's wayfinding getting people under that railroad track. Okay, that's a fact, and there's nothing we can do about it. So the SRI was and is intended, and there's been times, and that's why I started saying, when I read the newspaper article saying we're running out, I think it was Channel 9 News said Kenton County's running out of industrial property. I read that personally, I thought, well, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Okay? And because it gave the wrong message that we're hell-bent on developing the South County. We're pretty hell-bent on, like, being defensive on what, if development's coming, our job is to control it to the point where it can be controlled. You can put a bunch of big distribution centers in there right now, and Boone County's done a really good job of doing that on 25. Okay? So I'm not sure if you were at the Boone County meetings and asking them not to do that, but however it happened, it is there, right across 25 from where we are, and that's what created the immediate opportunity for it to come over on our side. What we're doing is be proactive about, if you're going to have it, whether I agree with it or not, advanced manufacturing is what you would want over distribution, okay? If you're going to have jobs down there, you want high-paying jobs, and you want fewest trucks possible, and you want the highest regulation you can put on it. It's here, and that's what the whole initiative is about. So, I mean, I don't think this is going anywhere quick. Please do not hesitate to talk to any one of us individually, because I said something about the county speaking through its minutes in here. That was intended to say, whoever's out there saying we're taking houses, it's nonsense. Okay, the voices that are taking the loudest, there was a lot of ventriloquists out there. Okay, I was saying a lot of stuff without moving my lips, if you know what I mean. There was a lot of meetings down there that people were saying the county's going to do this, okay, and they were saying it pretty loudly, and that's why it provoked me to say, well, the county can't say anything unless we meet here. And the four of us, sometimes it's 3-1, sometimes it's, whatever. But whatever the majority of this council says on policy is what happens. And we would be negligent to do that without consulting people on an individual basis or making ourselves available to people on an individual basis. So we're not being contradictory. In fact, it's basically just spelling out the thing. Talk to us as much as you can, send your feedback, but trust that there's nothing going to happen until something happens in here. I'm sorry for being wordy on it, but I mean, that's
great.
That's facts.
I appreciate you saying that, Commissioner, and I would just add real quick to that note about talking to us. There are individuals who don't want to come to a microphone and don't want to speak their view in a public meeting and have a right to have a private conversation with their viewpoint, whether it be, and there are varying degrees of that because those calls do occur. And someone says, I do not want to offer my opinion when my neighbor might disagree because I don't want to be disagree with my neighbor, but I want to have a right to be heard, which I think everybody can appreciate that. So whether it be, I would encourage, anybody watching or seeing this or tonight is to pick up the phone. And the reason why we did some of the reach out to we have private meetings is to make it convenient. That's really all it was, and it is, so that people don't have to come to a special meeting, come to Covington, come out. If some people maybe don't like to even drive or whatever, but making it convenient for that purpose. Emails, phone calls, whatever, always welcome. And then the other item I would also tell you that those who have made a note, we are working on the addresses, what's happening. Every single resident in Kenton County, we want to get a copy of the What's Happening magazine. And that magazine is intended by, whether it be Imperfect Date or whatever. If you have not gotten one, please call us up and we'll make sure, regardless, that your address is added. And then even some of the, one note I wanted to point about the questions. I think, Tim, you had made this comment. We are going to do a gathering soon. That is planned, and hopefully it's not going to be ever perfect from somebody's perspective, but that is, you'll hear about this shortly. And you have plenty of notice to do that, and we do have that planned. So with that, we're going to move on, and we got some great things to do this evening. If anyone wants to stay for the rest of the meeting, you're welcome, but I'll maybe take a couple-minute pause if you'd like to leave and enjoy the evening. Otherwise, we're going to continue on with the meeting. So just take a second or two if anybody would like to leave. So enjoy the evening. Great, so we're going to go ahead, and next is we're going to handle the promotion of Billy Joe Kaiser and Alexander Kelly to lieutenant for the detention center. So Billy Joe and Alex will do this. I think we going to swear you both in at the same time. So come on forward.
It's the safest place in the county.
It's perfect. Side to side. You raise your- Do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, and be faithful and true to the Commonwealth of Kentucky so long as you continue as citizen thereof, and you will faithfully execute to the best of your ability the office of lieutenant in Kenton County Detention Center, according to law, and do you further solemnly swear that since the adoption of the present Constitution, you being a citizen of this state, have not fought a duel with deadly weapons within the state nor out of it, nor have you sent or accepted a challenge to fight a duel with deadly weapons, nor have you acted as a second in carrying a challenge, nor aided or assisted any person thus offending, so help you God? Congratulations for this. Next step. So let's go.
I have a ton over here.
So everybody's related to Billy Joe, raise your hand. Thanks for sharing her with us. Yes. So
You know it's like a man. I don't see her work.
rest of the crew. Congratulations. Thanks for letting them do great things for you. And you're all, by the way, we have one more swearing in, so out of respect for them, we'll do that next, and then we'll let everybody exit, if that's all right. Okay, well, Andrew. Okay. Do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, and be faithful and true to the Commonwealth of Kentucky as long as you continue a citizen thereof, and you will faithfully execute to the best of your ability the position of Sergeant for the Kenton County Police Department, according to law? And do you further solemnly swear that since the adoption of the present Constitution, you being a citizen of this state, have not fought a duel with deadly weapons within this state nor out of it, nor have you sent or accepted the challenge to fight a duel with deadly weapons, nor have you acted as a second in carrying a challenge, nor aided or assisted any person thus offending, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Congratulations.
Oh, sorry. Oh, wait, it's on. Okay, you're good. And then we'll
So
do
you
good
got a crowd here too.
I do, I got a few sitting over there. My wife Katie and my two boys been there that way.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for sharing with us continually and seeing his continued success and service. Thank you. He's going to want me to sign these.
Absolutely will.
Oh, were we supposed to have photos with everybody? Did we?
I was hoping, since we got cleaned up.
Who told me? Okay, we'll get that one. May as well do it while I got it on. Yeah. Well, we're moving pretty fast. Okay, that's pretty good. All right, well, we're going to move on with the agenda. And sorry, commissioners, that you got to grab me if you want to make sure we do a group picture.
I'm just messing with you.
It's okay.
Okay, let's see, we have we do have to formalize Executive Order 25-66, approving the promotion of Andrew Kenner to Police Sergeant.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We have our claims list, Kurt.
Yep, claims list was sent out last week. Any questions on that?
Nice shirt and jacket there.
Likewise.
Yeah.
Remind us of some of the major changes.
Let's see.
Sorry?
Are there changes to the claims list?
No,
There
sir.
were no changes to the claims list you received on Friday.
Okay, thank you.
We have Resolution 25-01J. This is our fiscal court concerning our budget adjustments, and I'm not sure where some of the questions were that Mr. Bach had, but
I got you, yep. There's $33,000 for refunds. That is for the occupational license fee. So if somebody filed for a refund, if their employer withheld, could be any of the, since we collect for the cities, they withheld for, let's say, Independence, and the person didn't work in Independence, they filed a refund. This is just returning their money to them. So we just had more than expected.
and that, by the way, does happen at small levels and big levels. So if you have a big company that's been collecting from payroll maybe inaccurately, and then they have a right to get that money back.
Correct. Well, the company could only get a refund on their net profit or gross.
I'm sorry, I meant
the
the,
cities.
but they collected on behalf of the employee through payroll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's $100 to the parking garage for the monthly contract. That was just a small price increase that exceeded the budget, or would exceed the budget if not for this adjustment. $23,750 for unused sick pay for someone at the jail that is retiring, and then $15,000 in bank charges.
15,000 for what?
For bank charges, bank fees,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
and that's
Very
all of
good.
those.
All right.
Okay, we do need to approve 25-01J.
I'll make a motion to approve budget adjustments as presented.
Motion. do
I'll
we have a
second it.
Second, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. 25-20 regarding the court performing routine maintenance of all rural secondary roads. Spencer, good evening.
So this is an agreement we've had with KYTC for the last few years, just to perform maintenance on their rural secondary routes in Kenton County. I believe we had a question about the $228,900 that the agreement's for. That's for, that we basically keep track of our work orders, time and materials, and then we send KYTC an invoice quarterly. So we can, the agreement is for up to the $228,000. It doesn't necessarily mean that we'll spend all of that. We invoice appropriately for the work that we do.
And I do want to call that out, Spencer, also, and again, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the idea being that we can typically react a little faster and help the state in areas that they need maintenance, and that way we're not putting county dollars on state roads, but we're getting reimbursed. It's a good partnership to try and get things done. We've done that with snow removal as well through the years to try and help where maybe they've got some challenges with contracts or what have you, and allows for our team to help provide that.
I
Like
have-
the next one. So
I have a question.
Sure.
I was going to ask you this privately, but it's so comical. Might ask it publicly.
You're still thinking about it? Okay.
We were going to a restaurant on DeCourcy called Bards, B-A-R-D-S.
Yeah.
And we got lost and we wound up on 3026 Tecumseh Avenue, and which resulted in me going on Route 117. Is that a state road or county?
117, I mean, it most likely be, I have to check them.
Well, anyway, we went through the city of Fairfield twice. We went on a scenic tour
hard to
for
do.
about an hour, back through there. And is that, Fairview's a separate city, right?
Sure, yeah.
But who's responsible for those roads?
So it's, I mean, that is a smaller city. We have some roads that abut the city, but yeah, it would be under Fairview's purview.
It's a 117, you need to check into that.
Yeah.
Have you ever been back there?
Oh, sure, but I can't
I mean,
tell you
it's
once
really
I can't.
treacherous.
Tecumseh.
I mean, if your car goes off the side of the road, you're going to go down about this far. I mean, Sleepy Hollow Road is bad too, but that 117 is just as bad as anything in the county, I would think.
Yeah.
So I don't know, has anybody ever given any attention to that, or?
Well, if a city asks us for help, we would be there to help. But secondarily, we would hope to not have any county roads we're responsible for that have an issue unless we're just limited by access, but
That's why I asked
Yeah.
about 117.
Well,
Is that a county road or?
No, the 117 would not be, but I'll look into the issues and see.
It's not a county road? No. So it'd be a state road?
Most likely, yeah. Yes,
And
most likely.
South County Citizens Group formed a roads committee years ago, and they have diligently met every quarter. I know currently our chairperson has a husband that's ill, and we have not been together for a little longer than we normally have. But all those things are kept track of. I know that we've encouraged folks that have issues that they find to report them to the state website, and it gets taken care of through it. So it's been I think it's worked well. Don't you think so?
I think it's been great,
Yeah.
especially with the surveys. We've been able to generate work orders to be able to complete some of those comments that have arisen.
Yeah, and we've encouraged any citizen that wants to serve on it to be involved, and we've had, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 folks come and, be at those meetings. So it's been pretty well representative of the whole south end of the county, so.
Well, someone,
I haven't heard a complaint about that road yet. Have you?
Okay.
I don't,
No,
yeah.
there haven't been a lot of people like me on that road apparently. Because I'm
get
telling you,
traveled that much.
that is a treacherous road. And you need to have someone go out and look at it.
I'll follow up with-
And I don't know if anybody from the city of Fairview, I never had been to Fairview before. But we went through it twice. And
Yeah.
the road leading to Fairview is the one I'm talking about.
177 probably.
that's
You're
the
talking
one.
about
Okay,
177.
Yeah.
so.
Man, it is
we-
really bad, I'm telling you.
Yeah, we do perform maintenance on a portion of that section, on a portion of 177. So we'll take a closer look.
Just go out and look at it.
Yeah,
You don't mind.
absolutely. So,
Okay, so we do need to take action on Resolution 25-20. Correct? So we've not.
What is that?
We need a motion.
So move.
I'll second
And a
it.
second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Similarly, we have 25-21. This is the snow and ice resolution for that agreement
So
with
moved.
KYTC.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Ordinance 226.28. This is our second reading for the fiscal court budget for 25-26. Kurt has been working hard on that, and as we know, we've had our first reading of last meeting, and then this would be our second reading.
I'll make a motion, we approve it, and I would like to also make a comment that I notice Meg has a press release related to the budget, and she made a very important point that we have the lowest property tax since 1983 in Kenton County, which I think is commendable. And the plan is for the property taxes to continue to go down and also to make an attractive place, which I think we've done a pretty good job of that. And so I think Meg pointed that out on the second page about the tax rate, and so it's certainly well written. And we certainly have a lot of good services that are continuing, even with the lowest tax rate since 1983. I'm kind of proud of that, really. I brag about that to people. We have the lowest property tax rate since 1983. So I think that's something to be proud of.
Thanks, John. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Motion second. Any further comment or question? Let's do a roll call vote, please, Sue.
Commissioner Droud,
Yes.
Commissioner Soul,
Yes.
Commissioner Nienaber,
Yes, please.
Judge Nachman.
Yes. Moving forward, we have our consent agenda. We've got 5 items. If you have any questions or would like to address any individually. And one note, by the way, I think, Mr. Bach, you had a question, I think, on one of them that had referred to a Exhibit A. I think that was on the contract with JSL for the owner's rep for the park. So that exhibit should be on the website. We'll make sure we get that updated.
Judge, that Exhibit A it's referenced in the RFP that the court
Oh.
approved back on January 14th.
So basically
if you
went
go
out
to our
saying, hey, we
website,
want
January
to get.
14th, it's referenced in that document.
Very good. No, fair enough, yeah.
I'll make a motion that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Order 25-65, approving the resignation of Trevor Rowe as a sergeant for the police department.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. In order 25-67, approving the appointment of Jerry Hollingsworth as a part-time solid waste tech for Public Works.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Under reporting, we have Ashley Hawks for Emergency Communications.
Good evening.
Good evening.
There are a couple of organizations throughout the United States that set professional standards for public safety emergency communications centers, and we try to achieve the majority of the standards that apply to our operations and dispatch. However, we never have participated in the working groups that help form those standards. And as of this week, we've had one of our telecommunicators, Sarah Halpin. She applied to be on one of the working groups to help develop standards for the minimum training requirements for instructors for telecommunicators in the United States, and she was accepted. She is the only telecommunicator in the state of Kentucky that serves on a working group for the Association for Public Safety Communications Officials. So it's wonderful to have someone who was selected by this organization to represent our area as well as dispatchers across the United States.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Any questions? Thanks.
Great. Easy. Chief Jones. Confused me.
I know, like, why is he looking back there?
Well, thank you for the time this evening. I do want to mention we had members of the Kenton County Police Department in consort with the Independence Police Department participate in the 2025 Special Olympics Torch Run. It's something that I've been involved in since 1986 when I worked at Eastern Kentucky University. But this event raises money and awareness of the Special Olympics program. We had some of the athletes there with us last week, and it's over a 50-year-old program that law enforcement's been involved in. And it was I was very proud to see the departments come together and do that. It was a very nice event, and we plan on making it even bigger and better next year. So I will inform you when that comes along next year. Under personnel, as you know, we've had some personnel moves. As a matter of fact, tonight we had a big one by promoting Sergeant Andrew Kenner, and I appreciate that very much. We currently have a lateral who will be patrolling solo on Thursday, Gordon Purvis. You hired him for us about a month and a half ago. We have a recruit starting the academy this week, and yet another recruit graduating next week from the academy. We're very excited about getting those folks in and on the road. We have a second recruit starting the academy in July. We also have a conditional offer out to an individual, and that candidate is in the background phase of our process. Big shout out to Kelly and Lauren at HR for all of their work with us and helping us with these processes. And Megan, I want to thank you for your help with the recruiting video that's coming out soon. I don't want to spoil the surprise, but she's been working with a couple of our officers on putting together a video for us for the county. Fleet, we've taken receipt of two 2025 Dodge Durango police SUVs, which we needed for patrol use, and we are currently waiting on two more to be delivered. And thank you, Spencer Fleet, for working with us on those. And I will stand for any questions. Thank you, Judge.
Thanks, Chief. Jailer Fields. You're moving faster than...
No, I don't know if I'm moving faster than the chief is. I don't know about that one. I want to follow up on something that Commissioner Drought kind of mentioned at the last meeting, and it has to do with our population. You all have heard me talk about the population in that detention center ever since I have been appointed and elected to be here, and how we had worked very hard to try to get it to benefit us in the community, right? The beds were being used by the state, right? And sometimes that was not as beneficial to us as we think it should have been, right? So we have gotten that under control a little bit now. And I have asked Colonel Smith to come up and give you an update. He has led this implementation over the past year of us getting the population in control so that we have enough workers to go out in the community, the state inmates, right? And now how do we utilize those 602 beds as a commodity for the county, right? There is some necessary beds we have to use, but Colonel Smith, if you'd please come up and give you a little detail, and I will be right here in case you need it.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. This is my first time, speaking to you all, so if I sound a little nervous, that's probably because I am. So
You don't get nervous. so
You
you're
know,
good.
kind of like Ms. Sauer said, the animal service director last week, not last week, at the last fiscal court meeting, she's very data-driven. I, too, am also very data-driven. I like to keep spreadsheets, like to kind of see, where we've been and where we're going. So our current population today is 607. That is a little higher than it was last month at 579. We have 489 males, 118 females. 409 of those are county inmates, 101 of those are state inmates, and we have 69 U.S. Marshal detainees. That number is elevated from the previous month. The previous month it was around 3. We receive over 2 times per diem the amount for federal detainees versus state detainees, and we are also reimbursed for mileage for transportation, and we're also reimbursed for deputy hourly wages for that transportation. Like I said, I like to keep numbers, I like to keep spreadsheets. In 2022, for the month of June, our population was 603. For 2023, our ADP, average daily population, was 610. Last year, our average daily population was 570 for the month of June, and currently, like I said, we're at 607. So we're a little bit elevated than we were last year, but kind of on the same kind of trajectory as the last prior years. Since this implementation, since May 18th, we've conducted 13 transports to other facilities, that's other county facilities throughout the state and other county facilities in other states, and we are reimbursed for those. Another thing I'd like to talk about is personnel. Staffing-wise, we're doing very good. We currently have 102 sworn officers. We're slotted for 106, so we're only 4 short. Recently, last month, we just had Lieutenant Spang retire. He served the county for 20 years, retired as an investigator. Staffing numbers for the past couple years, 2022 for the month of June, we were at 70. 2023 for the month of June, we were at 77. And 2024, last year, for the month of June, we were at 93. So we're currently sitting at 102. That is back-to-back months, is over 100 deputies. I can say in my 17-year career is probably a first, and we're very proud of that. So, and a lot of that is thankful for you all, some of the things you've allowed us to do, some of the things you've given us, and we really appreciate that. If anybody has any questions.
Tell you one thing, I'm very impressed. That's the best report that I've ever had since 2010.
Well, I appreciate that, sir.
I mean, all those federal inmates. I know Joe Shriver struggled for years with the fiscal court, not the fiscal court, but the jail, being able to meet its budget, and we all worried about that, and well, there's federal inmates, and particularly the staffing, too. I mean, that's not a very easy job, or I know I wouldn't take it, but you have to be treating people right in order for that staffing to increase like that. I would think that you certainly deserve some good praise for leadership,
Great job. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Mr. Hensley, Homeland Security and Emergency Management.
Brother Hensley, you're continuing to look good. You're suave looking, got a nice tan.
Thank you, Commissioner, and we'll continue on. A couple things, and one is to kind of follow up on Ashley's point, and that is we have been striving to obtain some training for our people, and I'm happy to report we've completed all of our required in-service training, and we've been able to find some advanced level training classes for our folks that are very, very difficult to get, but fortunately we were able to, without leaving the state, get all of our guys their required minimum mandatory training, and we always exceed that. So wanted to share that with the court. And now there's an important point that I'd like to make, and it's very timely as well, because it's talking about our emergency planning and emergency preparedness. I think there was a reference made tonight about maybe we should be putting more focus on emergency planning and those type things by one of the people from South Kenton. So this will be an opportunity to extend an invitation. The last week of August, we are going to set up the Emergency Operations Center, and that's going to be in preparation for Riverfest. But in addition to that, we're going to do an EOC exercise, and where we'll place all the involved parties in the EOC so they'll actually understand their roles and operational aspects. We did it a few years ago. Commissioner Sewell attended, Mr. Gunning, Mr. Shriver attended, and so we're going to encourage members of the court and members of the public to attend that. In addition to that, several of our city partners have asked that we do this to invite some of their newly appointed and newly elected officials in to get a better understanding of how we operate in large-scale events and those type things, which would be from the river to the south end of the county. It's all inclusive. And so we'll certainly invite any of the public from South Kenton, North Kenton that want to attend, and we would encourage that. Again, there'll be more to come out on that. Been a very active month for us. We've had about 40 plus after hours and weekend call outs. One was a very significant 2-day long search for a critical missing person. Unfortunately, the outcome of that was very, very sad. As it turned out, we had to get Boone County Water Rescue involved. We found the individual's vehicle that was in the water. Unfortunately, the individual was in it as well. But it's, again, a very well-coordinated. County police were out there with us for 2 days. Boone County Water Rescue was out there. Pioneer Fire was out there. Prayers go out to the family and the loved ones of the individual, but sad outcome. One other real quick item that we just received this afternoon, and that is hopefully on June 13th, Richardson Road. You remember we've talked about the extended closure of Richardson Road. On June the 13th, the state notified us this afternoon via email they will be opening that roadway, but they didn't want it to be a misconception because the roadway is not totally complete. Part of the base is still going to be gravel, and the intent of that is to let vehicles compact that gravel before they put a top coat of blacktop and other things on it. It's safe for travel, but they want to make that process happen before they go in and put a top coat of blacktop on it. And the reason for them getting it open on June the 13th is Bristow Road. As you know, there's a planned closure for Bristow Road. And if we close both Richardson and Bristow at the same time, emergency response vehicles are not going to be able to access certain parts of that area. So with Richardson being back open, there will be routes available to get in and out and make emergency access runs. So with that being said, I'll entertain any questions. Very good. Thank you.
You know, wait a minute. I got a question for you.
Go right ahead,
At least
sir.
a comment. I didn't know if you realize this. You're such a humble guy, but I saw an article the other day where you were voted the most outstanding emergency services director in Northern Kentucky and being nominated for the whole state. So we're really proud of you, and just want you to know that.
Well, thank you, but you've heard me say this 100 times. Everything we do as a team. So it's a team effort.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, Commissioner, he told me if I brought that up, that he would never buy me lunch again. So
He's so humble.
You're exactly right, and congratulations, Steve. County Administrator's Report. No, County Treasurer, sorry. Kurt.
Can't miss this. I just need the record to reflect. Financial reports for May of 2025 have been submitted.
You're another guy that's done a great job with it. First year of doing that budget, that's not an easy chore, and we want to thank you for your effort.
Thank you. It was also a team effort.
County Administrator's Report. How's your team?
Great, fantastic. Just wanted to say that the Gresham Smith amendment that we approved is just the first step in bringing the podium to life over the garage. After we get the design work from this agreement to our contractor, then we'll have another adjustment to their contract in order to put the podium, all coordinating with the developer of the apartments above the parking garage. So appreciate the vote today. It's one step in many that still have to happen.
They give you any timetable on when that parking garage will be finished, or?
Yes, I have a timetable.
What?
It'll be done in November.
November?
It'll be open, but there'll be several spots that'll still not be available because of the construction that'll be occurring both with the podium, and then right after that podium's done, the developer is going to start in earnest. So we're going to have construction there till about 2028, working above but the parking garage will be able to be used and accessed as early October. That'll be substantial completion. A completion date of the parking garage is November, but that's a caveat because of the work being done on the podium and the above it. You're going to not have complete, full access until that construction's complete.
So the idea with the condos is not till 28? That we're just-
Right, yeah, because they can't start until that podium's done.
Yeah.
The podium won't be done until much later this year, and so they're going to start in earnest, and it'll take them about 2 years to complete all that because of how they have to go vertical above our garage.
It's going to be an exciting project.
It is.
Thanks, Joe. County Attorney's report. Chris?
No report publicly. We do have executive session tonight.
Well, if we approve it.
I didn't mean
Commissioner.
to look disappointed there.
Yeah. Commissioner Drought?
Yeah, I'm going to have Sue make a copy of a letter that was sent to me. I gave as I normally do for the last 25 years, I guess. John Link has trouble finding somebody to speak at the Memorial Day, so I always speak there at the Edgewood Memorial services. Anyway, there was a person there named Lawrence Goodrich, and he lives in Lakeside Park, and apparently he's an art professor, and he builds, patriotic exhibits, dioramas, and stuff like that. And he's invited us, and it's a long way to go up to Harrison, Ohio. But I told him he sent me a letter and wanted me to share with the rest of y'all an invitation to come, so I'll have Sue send that out to y'all.
Sure.
And then, let's see, I won't be here June 30th until, I don't know when I'm coming back.
Depends what Beverly tells you to do.
Yeah, I don't think I'll miss a meeting, though. Second Tuesday and fourth Tuesday, right?
Okay, second, fourth, yeah. Very good. Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Sewell.
Mr. Sewell?
Commissioner.
I have nothing,
Commissioner
Judge.
Sewell.
I have nothing, Mrs. Knockelman.
Commissioner Nienaber.
Nothing, just a quick comment, eating dinner a week or two ago at Mackenzie River and saw a bunch of police activity out in Erlanger. Unfortunately, they had a bad incident going on, but, I meant to say it when Ashley was up, but we watched police cars from all over Kenton County converge in Erlanger. I believe they had a stabbing of some sort. And it occurred to me that it was probably a very long night for dispatch. When you have probably, I don't know how many agencies ended up being involved in that, but I'm sure it was a very long process of dealing with people, dealing with callers, dealing with first responders. I don't know how it actually ended up, but whenever you see something like that, you think of the people who are actually, who have to kind of manage it from behind the scenes without having the benefit of the eyes on the ground. And so I'm always very proud of our dispatch center for that, and our first responders who go to that. That's a frightening scenario on both sides of that. So I'm thankful for you guys. But other than that, got nothing.
Okay, thank you. I don't have anything to report this evening, but we do need to go in executive session pursuant to KRS 61.810 for subsection C for purposes of discussing proposed or pending litigation.
So move.
Second.
Motion or second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Do we need to take action after possibly? Okay.
Right, no action.
So we can't adjourn, but we'll come back and adjourn. We're in executive session.
Or an executive session.